Yesterday I mentioned that how we process the C4 card depends on the type of problem that we have. The types of problems I've written about in my books fall into four categories. There's an alert response problem that is a type of problem that when it occurs it threatens your ability to satisfy your customer. So that requires immediate reporting and immediate response. We've got to apply some kind of short-term countermeasure and contain the problem from spreading any further. And then afterwards, we want to do some follow-up analysis to find the root cause and develop a permanent solution. Now, for these kinds of problems, you want to take that action first to contain and correct the problem immediately to get things rolling again. But then when the crisis passes, you want to grab the C4 card or worksheet and then quickly capture the problem and describe what actions you took. Then try to pull together a few people to dig into that problem deeper to make sure your countermeasure will correct the root cause. Now, we're pretty good at this immediate response kind of thing, but we're not so good at that follow-up analysis piece. So let's start building that capability. The second type of problem is a measured response problem. In this case, the problem becomes visible through your process metrics as an out of standard condition. It could be a nuisance problem, but it doesn't really threaten your ability to satisfy customers, usually smaller in scope kinds of things. Often an individual will report this problem, or you'll share that problem as something you experienced in the daily huddle. Here the coach is going to work through the problem with the individual and escalate the problem if it's necessary. And together they're going to develop and implement a countermeasure because it's usually small enough in scope for the team to handle. Again, for these problems, when you see the deviation from your standard in your process, pull the C4 card and capture the problem and as the gap between what you planned and what you actually got. Then assign a coach or coach yourself and work through the card to define and clarify the problem. Find that root cause and then afterwards develop several countermeasures and try to implement the one that's the best. If there are other processes that are similar and this countermeasure is applicable to them as well, go ahead and spread that solution to as many places as actually needed. The third type of problem is actually an individual idea. Now, an idea by itself is not the problem, but in my experience and in my research, I've found that most of the ideas that people have are triggered by a problem that they've had. So when an individual has an idea and they're willing to share it with us, they typically stem from some unsolved problem that might be kind of hard to define. So what the coach has to do is work through this card backwards. So you'll capture the idea in the countermeasure section of the C4 card, post it as you normally would. Then when the team lead or the coach pulls it, we'll start by asking, what problem do you think this idea is going to solve? And then define that problem, get to that root cause, and then if the idea solves the problem at the root cause, it's a good idea. If it doesn't, go back to the drawing board and try it again. Finally, the fourth type of problem is a management response type of problem. This is where we want to create a problem by setting a goal that exceeds your current ability to accomplish. So we're going to push the standard a little bit. So maybe the business is making some slow or no progress on an annual or quarterly goal. Management will say, we want to be able to emphasize this, so we'll pull a team together, give you a C4 card or a C4 worksheet, and go to work on that specific goal. Or we've been hitting a standard consistently for a long time, and now it's time to push the standard to see if we can improve performance using that. So we're going to assign a team to work through the problem-solving process to pinpoint those problems associated with this or identify any barriers that we might have in achieving the new standard. And then we're going to build a plan to get from where we are now to that new planned target. And we're going to measure our performance on that plan. And as long as we're on plan, we're in the green. We're looking good. Hopefully we should be able to achieve that new target within a relatively short period of time, depending on the complexity of the work and a million other things. So tomorrow let's talk about escalating, and I want to introduce you to the C4 worksheet, which is designed for teams, not individuals, and it's designed for a little more complex problems. So have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.